Pets.
Scalpel.
Check.
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 Healthcare. American style.
Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the top 10 things only adults notice in Animaniacs.
Looks like an election ballot from Chile.
For this list, we're looking at jokes, references, and themes from this totally insaney franchise where the writers likely thought to themselves, forget the kids, this is for us. Which Animaniacs moment do you now get as an adult? Let us know in the comments. Number 10, Rocket Man, the Shatner rendition. Rocket Man will forever be associated with Elton John, but William Shatner's spoken rendition has earned its place in infamy as the bizarro version.
Not the man they think I am back home. Oh, no, I'm a rocket man.
As surreally hilarious as Shatner's 1978 interpretation is, you wouldn't expect this epic fail to inspire a parody 16 years later, on a show aimed at kids no less. Even after a long time, though, Shatner's Rocket Man remains ripe for satire.
Ba, black sheep. Have you any wool? Yes, sir. Oh, yes, sir. 3 bags full.
I think there's something missing.
Like talent?
At karaoke, the Warners encounter a loosely veiled caricature of Shatner hogging the mic, tormenting listeners. While kids can find humor in Willie Slackmer's strange manner of speaking and singing, it's safe to say they weren't alive when Shatner attempted to launch a singing career. Some might not even be familiar with Star Trek, which also gets a shout out.
With a knick-knack paddywhack, give your dog a bone, this old man came rolling home.
Oh, I get it. It's a whole Star Trek gag thing.
Iris out already, please.
Number 9, a different kind of bird. Protecting their pet turkey, Mr. Gobble, the Warners confront a hot-headed pilgrim dead set on serving a particular bird for dinner.
Hey, who do you think you are?
I be Miles Standish from yon pilgrim colony.
Nice hat, Miles. Hey, listen, it's not too neighborly to shoot other people's pets, you know?
History buffs may notice that the pilgrim is named after Miles Standish, Plymouth Colony's military advisor. The real Standish was also quite aggressive, although he had more than turkey blood on his hands. In addition to this history lesson, the episode teaches kids that bird can have another meaning beyond fine-feathered friends.
Begone, pests, and give me the bird.
We'd love to, really, but the Fox censors won't allow it.
Animaniacs would revisit this joke in Season 3, when the Warners are once again asked to hand over the bird. Although the show had moved to the WB, their censors apparently weren't much more lenient than Fox's.
Never mind that. Just give me the bird.
We can't. This is a family show.
Number 8, Citizen Brain. For young film enthusiasts working their way through the AFI's 100 Greatest Movies, they might notice that Charles Foster Kane sounds an awful lot like the Brain.
I'd make my promises now if I weren't too busy arranging to keep them.
In reality, it was the Brain who drew inspiration from Orson Welles. Maurice LaMarche has impersonated Welles in various projects, most notably dubbing his voice in Ed Wood. As the Brain, LaMarche channeled Welles's ambitious and arguably diabolical nature.
If you want this done, you'll just have to find some actor who does impressions.
LaMarche mastered this voice by listening to Welles' outtakes for a frozen pea commercial. He would also use these outtakes to warm up on Animaniacs. This would be directly referenced in the episode Yes Always, where the Brain must record dialogue.
Well, you did the first 6 lines and...
The right reading for this is the one I'm giving it.
At the moment.
I heard that.
The Brain's lines are more kid-friendly than Welles's, but how many children were in on this inside joke? Number 7, Animaniacs Now.
We pushed our way into the very heart of the studio. The sights we saw. The carnage.
We're willing to wager that kids who grew up on Animaniacs didn't see Apocalypse Now until later in life. They also probably weren't aware of that war epic's troubled production history, which was chronicled in the documentary Hearts of Darkness, a filmmaker's apocalypse. Both films provided inspiration for this episode, where the Warners are tasked with tracking down a mad director whose feature has ballooned over budget.
Hi there.
Don't with the scaring, it's not a good thing.
While Mr. Director shares obvious parallels to Marlon Brando, he sounds like Jerry Lewis, who endured a similar production nightmare with his unreleased film The Day the Clown Cried. This is referenced as well in Mr. Director's The Wretched Clown. Adding another layer, writer Paul Rugg described the episode's original script as a, quote, disaster, going through his own apocalypse.
I think he said, "Hoyle, how'd you with the going? You were there, but here now. You are for me to see. How'd you do?"
Thanks for clearing that up.
Number 6, Funny How.
You're just funny. It's funny, the way you tell the story and everything.
Funny how?
Dedicating an episode to an adult-oriented film is one thing, but basing a recurring segment around Martin Scorsese's Goodfellas goes to show that Animaniacs was just as much for the adults. The trio that makes up the Good Feathers is based on Ray Liotta, Robert De Niro, and Joe Pesci. Kids may know that last name from Home Alone, but not from the foul-mouthed Tommy DeVito. Pesto, Pesci's pigeon counterpart, repeatedly references DeVito's iconic Funny How meltdown.
Don't laugh, guys. I just want to be a tough bird, like you, Pesto.
What do you mean by that?
Well, I said you're tough, that's all.
You're saying I'm an overdone piece of meat? Is that what you're saying?
Whereas Tommy is just having fun with Liotta's Henry Hill, Pesto always loses it on Squid. Good Feathers also opened the door for parodies of The Godfather and other staples of Italian-American cinema that no kid has seen. Well, maybe New Yorker kids.
Well, maybe he thinks you're cute, you know what I'm saying?
Cute? You think I'm cute? That's it! Cute! I show you cute!
Number 5, Conjugation Junction. This entry is an exercise in how many dirty jokes you can get away with in less than a minute. When it comes to censorship, the best way to sneak in something risque is by disguising it with something educational.
First, verbs. Yakko, can you conjugate?
Oh, me? I've never even kissed a girl.
Conjugation, for example, is tied to grammar, but it sounds suspiciously close to copulation, another word that grade schoolers wouldn't know. The Animaniacs writers take full advantage of this when the Warners are in class and the subject of conjugation comes up several times.
No, it's easy. I'll conjugate with you.
Good night, everybody.
Yakko's initial misinterpretation is suggestive enough, but the scene keeps piling on innuendos. But hey, the censors can't do anything because technically the young audience is learning, even if they're not on the same page as Yakko.
Let me go to the board and show you.
Don't look.
Number 4, political satire. Let's be honest, kids and adults could learn more about politics watching Animaniacs than most cable news networks.
Warren Harding next in line.
It's Calvin Coolidge, he does fine.
And then in 1929, the market crashes and we fight.
It's Herbert Hoover's big debut. He gets the blame and loses too.
Franklin Roosevelt, president who helped us win in World War II.
Thanks to the show's intro, we'll always know that Bill Clinton plays the sax, which is one of the nicer references to the 42nd president. For all the jokes at the former leader of the Democratic Party's expense, Republicans weren't any safer.
According to this, I'd say we've lost our way.
This isn't a map. It's a campaign flyer for the Republican Party.
I know. That's why I'd say we've lost our way. As a country, I mean.
In addition to Clinton, every U.S. president was fair game in the president's song. The writers didn't limit themselves to American politicians either, making a mockery of Saddam Hussein in one segment. This tradition of political satire would continue in Pinky and the Brain, which was perhaps even more savage, and the Animaniacs reboot, which has taken shots at Tucker Carlson and bun control.
People need buns in these uncertain times. Better to have one and not need it than need one and not have it.
Number 3, Brain's puberty line. Written by Sherry Stoner, Bubba Boba Brain is among the most infamous Animaniacs segments thanks to an exchange with Dolly Parton. Having risen to country music stardom, the Brain finds himself sitting on the same couch as the 9 to 5 singer. Parton professes her admiration for the Brain, who responds with a line that kids won't understand.
I'm your biggest fan. What do you say to that?
I'd say puberty was inordinately kind to you.
Adults watching will think to themselves, did a mouse just say that on a daytime children's animated series in 1993?
What's he saying?
I don't know.
I'd like to thank my mama and Elvis.
We'd say that this joke likely wouldn't have been approved today. Then again, we wouldn't have expected it to fly past censors 30 years ago either. So who knows?
You are under my control. You will do whatever I say.
I will do whatever he says.
In any case, this was a highly unusual introduction to the concept of growing bodies. Number 2, Hello Nurse, Goodbye Nurse. Animaniacs has a few characters who wouldn't have felt out of place on the adult channel. Minerva Mink was so tantalizing that one of her episodes needed to be edited. While Hello Nurse did not ignite controversy back in the day, modern viewers might have been split on a sensually drawn woman who's constantly being kissed without consent. Granted, kids may not think too hard about it, but adults would. This probably explains why Hello Nurse was only mentioned in passing on the reboot's first 2 seasons.
Hello, nurse. Hello, nurse.
Hello, doctor.
While some argue that the character wouldn't work now, the original series did establish Hello Nurse as a multi-talented, independent career woman, subverting preconceptions. Had Tom Ruegger helmed the reboot, he would have promoted Hello Nurse to the studio CEO.
Oh, she's alert, she's aware, she's got legs like a stair and 157 IQ.
Before we say goodnight everybody with our top pick, here are a few honorable mentions. There's a car. Boingy, boingy, boingy. Hello, teacher. What teacher would keep that in there anyway?
Ooh, what else you got in there?
Why, you little F!
From Oedipus to Freud. You kiss your mother with that mouth? Actually, don't answer that.
So what are we gonna get Dr. Scratchy?
Ooh, how about an outfit from Oedipus Rex menswear?
Nah, his mom would hate those.
Look, Freudian slips.
He makes his own.
Where squirrels hide their nuts. We have a feeling the writers weren't really talking about acorns.
The squirrel likes to hide his nuts in many odd places where the sun doesn't shine on them.
No relation. This is why Buster and Babs really shouldn't be siblings in the reboot.
Bunnies?
Buster and Babs Bunny. No relation.
Let's hope not. It's a children's show.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Number 1. You all saw this one coming, or at least adult viewers saw it coming. Beyond Animaniacs, this is arguably the most notorious adult joke ever to slide by in the history of family-friendly animation.
Bring out the hound!
Searching for fingerprints, but instead coming back with the artist formerly known as Prince, what ensues is an ingenious use of wordplay that doesn't just go over the kids' heads, it skyrockets over them into the stratosphere, eventually falling down and hitting them on their heads during adulthood.
I found Prince!
No, fingerprints.
I don't think so.
Hard to say what's more surprising, that this joke made it to air, or that there actually is a 1977 album by The Residents entitled Fingerprints. We're not sure if The Residents realized how suggestive that title is, but Dot could have told them.
It is time to question the other passengers. I'd like you all to wait for me in the stateroom.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.